constitutional amendment against flag burning has come forth 9 times in the past 27 years in front of Congress. Most of those times it came extremely close to passing, either by a few votes in the House or a few votes in the Senate, or it passed the House or Senate, but missed by a few votes in the other. The debate on flag burning started right around 1989 during the Supreme Court case of Texas versus Johnson, where he was accused of burning the flag in protest of the Reagan administration. Flag burning is something we still see today. Most recently, we saw it in the days after the presidential election in protest of Trump being president. Flag burning should be prohibited as a form of protest because it is not an effective means of protest. It will not limit the First Amendment, and previous cases surrounding the definition of nonverbal free speech did not set the right precedent for cases surrounding flag burning. First, we'll look at why flag burning is not an effective means of protest. It is not effective in relying the protester's point of view or opinion. So by burning the flag, it only shows that you have a problem with a policy. It does not specifically lead to one policy or what you are specifically protesting about, which some say is the reason why flag burning should be illegal and it should not be made illegal as a form of protest, but it does not demonstrate exactly what you are protesting against, and therefore is not effective. According to Welch in the book Flag Burning, Moral Panic, and the Criminalization of Protest, the act of flag burning is not meant to convey a political idea. Not only does it not convey the idea, but it affects how people are listening to you. So by burning the flag, the people who already support you are going to support you more because you made an action, but other people who may be on the edge about what you're protesting or are against what you're protesting, you're immediately going to turn them off by a radical act because they think of the flag as a sacred object. According to Goldstein at the First Amendment AmendmentCenter.org, the court declared that love both of the common country and of the state will diminish in proportion as respect for the flag is weakened. It is important to keep the symbol of the American flag alive, because by burning the flag, we not only weaken its symbol to the United States, but we also limit the respect people have for the country. Now that I have proven that flag burning is not an effective means of protest, we will see why it will not limit the First Amendment. The First Amendment is thought to be believed to be limited by a ban on flag burning because the government would be stopping an effective form of expression, but this is not true because the law cannot protect a limitless variety of conduct because the person engaging in the idea intends to express the idea. So by burning the American flag, you are showing that you have a problem, but it does not express your specific idea. So therefore, it would not limit the First Amendment. Also, under the First Amendment, the definition of nonverbal expression is meant to create dialogue and an expression of ideas or sharing of ideas, which burning the American flag does not lead to what you are protesting in the first place, so therefore it would not limit the First Amendment. This is true according to Curtis in the book The Constitution and the Flag burning cases. Quote, because all expression necessarily requires the use of symbols, unquote. This does not mean that the First Amendment should protect all expressions, because all forms of speech include nonverbal communication. There are 2 forms of free speech according to Sullivan in the journal article 2 Concepts of Freedom of Speech: Political Equality and Political Liberty. Both of these want equal rights and to embrace an anti-discrimination policy, which if the government passed a constitutional amendment, would be equal and would be anti-discriminatory. Now that I have proven that flag burning as a form of expression is not effective and that the First Amendment would not be limited, I will prove that the previous cases surrounding the definition of nonverbal expressions in free speech did not set the right precedent because they did not involve a vandalism of a sacred object, which the American flag is believed to be. The definition of nonverbal expression for the First Amendment started to be defined around the 1930s by the Supreme Court. An example of a case is Tinker versus Des Moines Independent Community School District. So this case surrounded students protesting against the Vietnam War by wearing black armbands, and this was seen as protected under the First Amendment by the Supreme Court. Another case is the United States versus O'Brien. O'Brien was convicted of burning a draft card, and that was seen as illegal, which the Supreme Court later overturned to be protected under the First Amendment. But neither of these cases involved the burning of a sacred object. So therefore, they did not set the right precedent for something as burning the flag, which is considered to many to be a sacred object and a symbol of the nation. During the case of Texas versus Johnson, one of the main arguments in court was the right to preserve the physical integrity of the flag so that it may serve as a symbol. This is, according to Robert J. Goldstein in Flag Burning and Free Speech, the case of Texas versus Johnson. It is important to keep the flag's symbolic effect for the country and not to dilute American pride, which would be done by keeping flag burning as a form of protest legal. Because unlike the previous cases, Texas versus Johnson should have set a new precedent for the country. As I close today, I hope that you now see the reasons flag burning as a form of protest should be prohibited because it is not an effective means of protest. The First Amendment would not be limited, and previous cases surrounding the definition of nonverbal free speech did not set the right precedent. Next time you see flag burning on the news or social media, I hope you